What's up, coaches? Name's Coach McCray. Here, thank you, Coach Bandstra, for the opportunity to talk about some of the stuff that I've done in the past. So this video is basically just talking about becoming plus one on offense and using the Georgia Jet sweep system to and with run and pass variations. So I'm going to really get in depth with that, so you guys can get a better understanding of how to use that to help your team and win some football games as you go forward for the next upcoming football season. All right, so let me explain a little bit about myself. Coach McCray here, Brian McCray. I've been 24 years of coaching. This is my 25th year coming up. Been basically primarily offensive line, defensive line. I played at the University of New Hampshire for a couple of years and then at Merrimack College. Um, and as I got over the years, I've basically become an offensive coordinator and an offensive line coach. And I did that for 10 years. And then finally, after the pandemic, I became a head football coach at a local school in Massachusetts called Belmont High School. I did that for 3 years, and we won the league title the first time in 59 years in my last year there. My family moved, and I moved to North Carolina just for family reasons, closer to the people that we know for a long time. And I took an offensive coordinating job at Hopewell High School and Charlotte Mecklenburg schools. And now this year, I'm currently the offensive line run game coordinator at Culberson High School with Coach Duke Howell. Okay. Professionally, I'm a math teacher by trade. I've been teaching math for about 10 years now, and I've been in education about 15. I was assistant teacher for a long time, and I've been teaching in the Boston Public Schools primarily. I also do a lot of private coaching as well. I basically have a little program called Visionary Sports Academy, and I do offensive line and defensive line coaching. And I actually do that in North Carolina as of now. I've got a couple students that I work with, and mostly right now I'm working with offensive linemen. My coaching philosophy is pretty simple. And as a head coach and as a teacher professionally, my philosophy is just give a positive experience to the student athletes I coach and I teach. That's it. So positive experience doesn't mean that we're winning football games. It just means I'm putting you in the best position possible, and I'm not quitting on you during the season, and I'm giving you everything I got to help you win. So giving you tools in your tool belt to get you better, but also trying to put you in the right position so you can get an opportunity to win, regardless of what the team is. Okay. As a coordinator, my philosophy is I want to be flexible. I want to be flexible within my formations and all my run plays. So basically flexibility meaning that I want to have all my base run plays should be able to be worked in every formation I have. So again, that's how I like to run it. My pass plays should be able to be run in every formation I have. So we have the flexibility to move around, moves in different ways, and going forward. So that's me in a nutshell. Okay, so let me explain a little bit of my why. So why do I use the Georgia jet sweep offense? Okay, because I'm a spread guy. I love spread offense. I think it's great, especially for the kids. It puts kids in a good position and it's kind of like it gives you opportunity for kids to show their talents. It also gives an opportunity for kids, get a lot of one-on-one matchups. And so I really like to run the spread offense as much as possible. Okay, when we get to goal line, it's a little different. I don't like to spread in the goal line. I like to go underneath and get really tight and just pound it in. But offensive line guy. But again, like I said, I'm really focused on the spread. So why the Georgia jet sweep? Because I can run it out of different spread formations. And what another thing about it is it confuses the defensive coverage, and a lot of times is you can end up plus one. So in terms of plus one, meaning that if I'm sending this jet motioning over, then usually that person that is covering that man a lot of times can't get all the way over to that side, and so I end up plus one. Okay. And with it, when I add the variation of the run game with the jet sweep, I also what I've found is that the D line and the linebacker run fits can really get messed up. And so a lot of times is, guys are going certain different ways. And then so O's hope open, even if maybe you don't have that great offensive line or that offensive line that's really talented, you can put just your offensive line in a situation where, they're able to block the guys, but the guys don't know where the ball's going. Okay. And then finally, another reason why is, one of the things I hear all the time about coaches is I want to add more motion into my spread offense. I just don't want my kids to be standing there. So the great thing about the jet sweep is, and my philosophy I use is that I want to run jet sweep motion 30% of the time. Now, if you think about it in terms of math, I'm a math teacher. You basically run 30% of the time. You run about 50 to 70 plays of offense. You're looking at 15 to 20 plays 21 plays of motion in your offense. So you really don't have to do much in terms of getting the motion over. Now all of a sudden it's all set up for you and put you in a good position. So what I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to show a couple different formations. Again, you can run it out of so many different formations than what I'm going to be running it out of, but I'm mostly going to stay into 2x2 and 3x1, and I'll show you different formation, different things out of that. But again, what I'm going to show you today is basically different combinations of run plays, zone, counter, and my play action pass, and one of my RPOs that I use with the Georgia Jet sweep offense. And again, like I said, it's not something that people haven't seen before, but again, I just want to show you the effectiveness of it for your team if you like to do these type of things of getting motion involved and also running a lot of different spread formations. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you in terms of diagrammally how this is going to work and how I run my motion, and then from 2x2 and 3x1, and with the counters and everything going back, and then finally I'll show you a little bit of tape of this in action of a team where I used to coach at Hopewell High School, and them running that offense. And then at the end, I'll show you a little bit of my play action pass because I don't have any film on that, unfortunately, and my RPO, so you can see how that looks as it goes forward as well. Okay. So here's a first defense that you see. This is 2x2. This is basically a 2x2 defense. And again, the good thing about the Georgia Jet sweep offense, you can use it if any type of coverage you have. It's definitely effective and it puts you in a good position. So right now, I basically have a 4-4-2 with probably a cover four, cover two defense. You have man up on the slots. You have a free safety over the top, and you probably have a zone side on the left. So what I do is, okay, first thing is to do is I'm going to designate who's my jet sweep guy. So again, what I usually do is I put numbers to them. So I put this is two and this is one. Okay, and then what I do is when I say my jet, I just add the two and the one, and I tell which guy is going to go. So again, I don't need another conversation that or another tag word to add this person on the line and put this one back because all I just add the one or two. So right now I'm just going to send a jet sweep motion with the two, and then I send the jet sweep to the right. And how I usually block it, because I'm an offensive line guy, is I reach up front here. I'm going to block it straight up here, and then I go for the corner right here. So, and then also what I've done in the past, and I'll show you that at the end actually. Um, so and I just stock block it, and then what I'll do is I'll have this guy, this three technique will reach him. We'll have the center try to reach that Mike linebacker, have the guard reach the shaded nose and kind of block him down. But the tackle, what I usually do is have him block out on defensive end. And so what happens is if this guy that's in the box tries to go to the right, okay, and go take the jet sweep, then my quarterback, if he sees that, he can just shoot right down this gap right here, and he can keep this as an RPO, as a read idea. Okay, so from here, basically, I have the running back, and he just leads through, and he takes whoever he can get, usually the free safety or the linebacker here, and we kind of off to the races. Okay, now the other way I ran this before is a little sometimes I run it a little differently depending on the team. Okay, is I'll run it in terms of I'll have this guy stock block here, the slot, and then I'll have this guy, the free safe, I mean the number one receiver go up and take that safety, and then I have the corner, I mean I have the running back take the corner as he goes through. So that's another way of actually running this type of look. Again, the only problem is if you have a team that spins down, so this guy comes over and then the free safety spins down, then you're in trouble at that point. for doing that. So I sometimes I've done that in the past if I know the team's not going to spin down, but if team spins down, then I really don't like to do that. Okay, so how does this also work with the combinations? Okay, so again, I'm japping this ball at the B gap, and then he's taking it and seeing it as he goes forward. So what I also like to do is once people start taking the jet, okay, and I run the jet a couple times, then I start adding the zone coming back. Okay, and I really like this play a lot. I like it better than the counter. It puts us really in a good position to really make a play. So what I'll do is I'll send a number two in motion again, like he's running the jet, and he would just go and take off like he's going to do the normal jet, and then we have these guys block normally. Okay, but now what I'll do is I'll have the running back delay for 1 second with the jab step to the right, kind of like he's a counter step, and then he's going to take the zone inside. And so what's going to happen is we're going to run normal zone blocking. Okay, going up to the backer here, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to read this defensive end. Okay, so once now the running back has an opportunity because again, this guy might be shifting this way, this guy might be shifting this way to see the zone, and then he can really hit it up, and you'll see it happen as you go, see it happen on tape. So the question is, people have an issue is like, okay, you're going to leave this defensive end alone. Is he going to chase down the back? 9 times out of 10, I haven't had a situation of that because of the fact is this guy basically you have this defensive end. He sees the jet motion, he's going to run with it too. Okay, and he usually tries to check that down. Okay, and usually takes himself out of the play. Also, what I found in many times is too is the three technique on that side as well does the same thing. So he get him a good block here, and he sees that jet motion coming, or the running back or the linebackers make a jet motion, jet call, or whatever call they have. This the three technique kind of runs himself out of the play as well. Okay, a lot of times, and you'll see that on tape as you go forward here. You see that. So again, it really puts you in a good position. Like I said, you're +1. So again, if you're in a situation where you said this guy in jet motion here, these guys a lot of times like to spin down, okay, or spin over and spin down to have that extra man come over on the side here. Now, when he does that, okay, now all of a sudden, now this whole area right here becomes a huge gaping hole. Okay, and so now you end up with a huge hole right there. If you can get to that spot or somewhere around here, and you'll see in the tape how wide it opens up, and then you're able to be +1 most of the time when you come backwards, come back with the zone. With the counter, it's the same thing. Okay, I don't usually like the counter out of the 2x2 as much with the zone. Okay, but again, I wanted to make sure you could see it, all right, and see how it goes. Okay, so if I run counter, same thing. Again, you don't have to. One thing I will tell you, you do not have to send a motion with number two. Okay, you can also send it with number one if you want to put number two on the line here. That's also works because this guy has to stop at this point. The corner, when he sees this guy come in motion, he's going to stop and make the number two now number one. So I send this guy in motion sometimes and goes across. And then what happens is they still have to spin. So this guy comes back, this guy spins, and this guy's not in a great position. Now I have an easy block for this number two receiver right on the corner here. And so he's really locked off. Okay, so if you run the counter here out of this set, same situation here. So again, I'm going to leave this defensive end alone. Okay, and he usually follows the jet. Okay, I'm going to block back on the three technique. And again, the three technique, and you'll see in the tape, three technique, a lot of times when he sees that jet motion, he's going to end up going to the right himself. Okay, and he kind of takes himself out of the play. Then you have this guy, he's going to see the jet, he might go this way, and you have a down block here. Then I bring this guy, bring the tackle all the way down, he blocks down, and then now I have the pull trap, and I have the wrap through for this backer, and the running back just takes it right in this spot right here, where the free safety left from. Okay, and so you have a really good opportunity here if you can be able to put that in a good spot. Okay, so that is again a 2x2. That's a count. That's the counter with married with the zone, and I mean, sorry, the jet married with the zone, and also the counter married with the zone as well. Okay. All right. So again, you can also, what I've also shown is you can also run this out of 3x1. Okay. And so I wanted to show you a couple different sets out of 3x1. So this is a normal 3x1 set where you're going to have, you pull the backer out. and put him on number two here, and you play your zone coverage on the right hand side, usually cover three or cover two, cover three, cover four look, okay, or two trap or whatever you got. All right. So here's the jet out of this, and so I like a lot of times I like the jet out of 3x1 better than I like it out of 2x2. I know 2x2 is balanced, but 3x1 because you have this safety up here, or sometimes this outside backer if he slams him down and he becomes the outside backer, depending on where you're from and what kind of style and conference you play in. But around here in North Carolina, where I'm at right now, basically we usually have two high. Okay, and so this safety is going to fly down when he sees the jet. So what I usually do is I have three, I have two, I have one. Everybody has a number, and then I just say when I send the jet for against the 3x1, I'm gonna send number two in motion this way. Okay. And so now what happens is now this guy is locked in. He has to be locked in because he's got to bump to number three. And the free safeties, it doesn't bump as hard over or screen over because of the gap, because we have 2x1, two people here. So I like that a lot. Okay. And so you run the normal jet, jump check block in here, get this guy up here, here, and then block here, and then read this guy. And then I have him lead for that safety with this guy here. So again, or you could run it the other way, like I said before, okay, is you can also have this outside number one on the single side. He can just go right now and go get that safety right now, and then you have him lead on the corner. So that's another way of running it as well. And then you have the pull read if this outside backer leaves. Okay, so again, you're putting yourself in a good position right now. You're +1 because you have a running back and you have two guys blocking two. And if everybody does their job right, you should be able to get yards on that. But where the real money comes in is if you for me is when I run the counter with this. Okay, so again, what I like to do is I'm always gonna send number two in motion. Sometimes I send number one. I rarely send number three. Okay, because of the fact is he's already uncovered anyways, so there's really nothing. So I don't get an advantage by doing that. So I like to always send number two or number one. And again, all you have to do is, and again, tidbit, all I do is say just put the number with it. So if number one is going, I know number two's got to go on the line and number three is going to be back. So I don't have to add a tag word to invert it or anything like that. I just tell them one of the numbers. So I'm going to send number two in motion. I'm going to run counter back. So I send number two in motion. He fakes like he's going to take that jet and he takes off. Okay, you're going to get the spin again. This guy might come down. He's going to stay right here. And then you're going to get the same situation with the counter. So you're gonna get that three technique. He's a lot of times is he likes to chase that jet because you got that weak side in here and he blocks here. Okay, I got to block down. I take this right tackle. He's gonna take the second linebacker. Okay, he doesn't take the first one. 9 times out of 10, but this one usually just flies away and tries to take the jet himself, so he ends up getting the mic anyways. Okay, but again, I'm gonna kick right here, and then I'm gonna wrap through for this guy right here. So number three, and so when this guy comes in motion, he stops here. So number three takes that backer here, and then number one would take the corner. Okay, and then we have the jet. Then we have the zone, the running back coming here, exactly where the free safety left. So now we're end up being +1 right now with the counter and out of the 3x1. Okay, so that is a great play that I run a lot. It's almost like a kind of like a wing T kind of idea of the crisscross. Okay, but again, it's out of spread. It really puts yourself in a good position. And like I said, a lot of people say, well, the back, the end is going to take the running back, but as soon as he sees the jet, he always stops and he waits for the jet because he's got contained. So again, you can take advantage of some of the stuff that the defense has. Okay, so that is with the 3x1 set. Okay, so okay, so again, you can also run the counter with this. So I want to show that I'm in the zone with this as well. So I put send two in motion again. Okay, and I send him in motion this way, and I'm going to run the regular zone with this. So, and this is great sometimes because again, we're going to get the spin down sometimes, a lot of times, or whatever. We might just get this guy rolling over to take the jet, You got the corner blocking this guy right here. When you run the zone, okay, so you have the double team to this backer here. You got the nice double team to the backer here, and you got this guy here, and you got to leave it here. What happens at a 3-by-1 a lot of times is, okay, this guy running back is going to try to hit front side, but a lot of times is he ends up bending it back exactly where the free safety comes spins down from because of the gap created. If the defensive end goes chases this jet, everybody does their job. This guy stays inside. This is where it really messes up the run fits. Okay, you can have this bend back, and you can see in the tape, you'll see the bend back that one of the running back does, and he goes all the way back to C gap, and he can really see it because now he has patience, he has time, and with the jet, and he knows that these guys are going to all become off the areas where they are. So it is also works here, but again, like I said, I really like to run a lot of times the counter with this, but if you want to change up or something like that, it really works well. You can also, again, if you're looking for, uh, if you have a running quarterback, this is also a great play with this. Okay, is you just send number two in motion this way and go this, have the running back go and like he's blocking, and then run your zone back or your counter back. Okay, and then you have your running back, your quarterback take that counter and go this way. Okay, that's also a great play that works out really well against a lot of teams if you have a good running quarterback. I've done that many a times, and it really puts people when they see, because a lot of times they'll start to key on this running back and watch him and see if he's coming back. If he stays, then they know that they're going to stop and they're going to wait for it. But if he goes to the way, they're all going to start chasing. So and the quarterback keeps that ball, he might be out the door a lot of times. Okay, so it really puts him in a lot of not very great situations by using the jet sweep. Okay, the Georgia jet sweep system. All right. Okay. So here's another thing that I want to show you as well. So here's it out at when you get man press. Okay. And this is a great offense when you have a blitzing team, a team that likes to really put pressure on you. I had teams many times try to do this to me when they see the jet in motion. So when I have these situations and these guys try to stop stepping up, and you're gonna have these guys filling gaps. He's going to be setting in the gap. You got man coverage. You got one high safety here. They're going to really try to just bring the pressure on you. Okay, I actually like that situation with the jet sweep. Okay, so again, I'm bringing number two in motion, and I like to run zone when I see this kind of look, because what happens now is for the lineman, it makes it easier. These guys all declare themselves in gaps, so all I'm going to do is block that guy down, block him to the one, block that 30 backer, and block this guy, and I'm going to read this guy here. So this guy comes in motion, okay, and he's going to take that jet guy with him. Now all of a sudden, with this motion, and this guy is pressed up here, uh, where's he going to go? He has to follow behind people to get to that. That's impossible. Okay. So again, it really puts you in a plus one situation a lot of times. You can even, and when you have man press, sometimes I even done it. I like to do it with man press. I'm going to send number one in motion to really put them in a bind. Okay. I'll send number one down and send him across, him over, and take the jet. Okay. And so what happens is like I said, it messes up the run fits. If anybody decides to take the jet, they're gonna open a huge hole. And so that happens a lot. A lot of times is it kind of parts like the Moses and Red Sea here, right down the middle of the chute, because again, you got the free safety trying to take this jet, and everybody's just man up on their blocking. And if somebody messes up their gap, you're out the door with this. Okay, so it's really great against blitzing teams that like to really declare themselves in the gaps, and you can really put them in a bad situation if they don't figure it out, and you can continue to do it until they finally get out of it. I've done this to many teams. This is how a lot of teams try to beat the jet motion and things like that, and I've been able to beat them with just using this kind of stuff. Okay, counter is not the greatest with this, but with the zone, you can definitely put them in a bad situation. All right. All right. So I wanted to show a little tape so you guys can see what this looks like, okay, in terms of different styles, different plays. This is when I was coaching at Hopewell last year. We ran this a lot last year, and it worked out really well for us. We didn't have the greatest personnel for it, but again, I usually like to have a like if I'm going to use the running back. My slot guy is usually supposed to be a little small, fast guy. I don't really like to use like a big wide receiver or anything like that to run that jet, but you can use whoever you want. And I think you're probably going to situation for that. Okay. So again, here's some of the different variations. So this is something. Here's where I ran this against Hopewell this year, and like I said, we didn't have the greatest personnel for running these type of plays, but we ran it pretty effectively. We had a good offensive line, we had a really good running back, and we got really good at it as the season went on. So here is against 2 by 2. So as you can see, they're in a cover four defense here, like a 4-3 kind of wide look. Okay, and watch this linebacker here. He just he sees the jet motion. He doesn't move. Okay. So again, this, like I said, this really puts you in a really good situation. And right now we're running run 2 by 2 counter. Okay. And watch and a couple of people you need to watch is the defensive end and the three technique. So this three technique is going to try to take the jet, and these guys are able to come through and really make something happen. Okay, this is not blocked particularly well, but it puts us in a good position, and we end up with a pretty good gain on it. No touchdowns, but good gain. I don't like to put touchdowns on. I like to put good gains. So see the defensive end and the three technique. They both tried to chase the jet. You had the defensive end go flying upfield because he knew the jet was going to come. And so now all of a sudden you got the double team here, and you got the tackle coming through looking for this backer here. So and then you have the wide receiver on the outside here. He's just coming up right to the safety. So we're in a good position here. Okay, and now look at also too. They got three guys on this side, three guys on this, four guys on this side, and we're coming back to the right where there's only two. Two guys and a blocker. And so we have a decent block here, not even a great one, and we're able to get some movement and make sure something happen out of it. Okay. So again, it definitely puts you in a good position. Okay, here it is 3 by 1. Here's what I was talking about. So this is like a 4-4 defense here. We got a safety that's low on this number three, and then you have a tight. Everybody's tight. This is like man press coverage with the two receivers and this guy looking inside, looking for the jet. So watch this number two. The guy that's covering number two, he really is no man's land. He has nowhere to go, so he's got to back up. Even though we're running counter coming forward, we're coming back to him. He has really no gap to associate with, so he ends up backing up and backing out of the way. And then we run the counter coming back. So again, guys always ask, it's like, well, what about this? What about the defensive line? This defensive lineman, watch this to end and watch the three technique. They go running after the jet, even though he has no chance of even getting this ball. And then we have a pretty good game for against a really good team. Now we run it out of here. Again, we change the formation a little bit as we go forward here. So we put a tight end down in a closed set with the trips. Okay, and the reason why we did that, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys on that side. So and so we really are +1 really well here. So again, what we'll do is this time we sent number three in motion for just to change it. We send number three in motion against this. Okay, and then he didn't even run a good fake. Not at all. And watch the inside. They sent a twist inside. And watch this linebacker here. I'm going to circle this guy right here. This linebacker here. Okay. This guy should be staying home and making the play, but he sees the jet, and it's a terrible jet. First of all, he should be closer to the quarterback to fake like he's getting the ball. He's almost running like motion, and this guy's going to go chase with the twist inside. So you have a twist here and a twist here, and with that, now these three guys with this run fit gone, they can take care of that too and get up to this backer, which they do, and make a pretty good gain out of it. Here it is. There's a twist. And then we got a 7, 8 yard gain there. Okay. So here it is again. This is what I'm talking about, the bend back. So right now we're going 2 by 2 here. Hold on. This is a good spot. We're at 2 by 2 here. Okay, and then we're sending number two in motion. Okay, and then we're going to run a zone coming back. And this is what I was talking about. The zone ends up on the same side as the jet because he really bends it all the way back. Watch the running back here, takes it, he bends it all the way back to that side. Should have scored a touchdown, but he didn't. He was close as he could. Okay. Now here is again this offense. I wanted to show this play because the offensive line didn't block very well here. Okay, this is probably the worst blocking we had all season. But we're sending number two in motion here, and by just sending him in motion, watch everybody go all different ways, and it really parts open like the Red Sea, and puts us in a good position because now and this is just a regular jet with the zone coming back. So jet comes here. Watch all everybody just go. We got the mic, and we're in a good position to get 5 to 6 yards there. Okay. So again, now I showed the jet in the zone coming back. So here's a regular jet. So again, I'm in the boundary here. That's why I want to run the jet out of this because I want to get to the back to the middle of the field. I don't usually what I don't like to do is I don't try to run the counter coming back to the boundary. I just don't like the run fits and where we can go. So I like to always be in the middle of the field when I run this kind of stuff, or I want to be in a situation where somewhere in the middle, close to the middle of the field, close to the hash or whatever. But again, so right now, basically, I got a wing here. I got an H back wing with two by two with an H back wing. So and I have end up having two blockers on the jet going this way. So again, I'm still +1 because of the motion. They got blockers here. I got a guy blocking here, and I got a blocker, and I got a blocker. So I'm going to use all three guys, and I'm going to just hand the ball off, and I should be able to get yards. Okay, here's the jet motion. Everybody's going to block. They're going to find somebody. So I end up a 3-on-3, and I end up getting a first down. 5 to 6 yards is here. Okay. So this is something that the kids came up with. Okay. We were running this so well. The kids, I usually like to talk to the kids. I mean, again, I'm about positive experiences with kids, and the kids started to really go, like, Coach, we got something here that we can do. And so they kind of pulled it out in the game, and we talked about it, and we kind of just started using it after a while. But this is basically now we're going to send the jet motion here, and now we're going to fake that handoff, and we're going to throw to that jet man. Okay, kind of like a bubble. So here we go. He's going to send this guy this way. He lets it go, fakes that jet. Everybody comes flying to it. Now we throw the bubble out there. Okay, that was a great play that we ran a couple times. Okay, against this team. Again, as people got you really used to it, they started to really key on that back. I'm going to show it again. They start keying on this back, and they say, okay, the back doesn't move. That means that this ball's coming back. So everybody just gravitates to that, and just that bubble goes out there, changes the whole picture of everything. Boom. Now we have 2 by 2, and now we're +1 that way. Okay. So again, it's a very effective idea. Doesn't take too much to put in. Just make sure that the guys are, you snap the ball at the B gap, and then you just let the stuff happen. And we might have couple times if you like to run the stuff. It's just going to take a little bit of timing. But once the kids get really used to it, and the running back gets used to it, and you have a really good running back that can do it, he's gonna find some big holes and be able to get some good yards on that. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to show you is hold on, is a couple of variations of it. Okay. So what about the passing game? Okay. And how do I use the play action passing game to actually with the jet sweep? Okay. And that's one thing because we start jet sweeping all the time, everybody's going to know it's a run and they're just going to stop packing in the box. So how do you use a pass game out of it? So what I've done in the past is again, you're still going to end up +1 with this. That's the point. You're going to end up +1. So what I'd like to do is I still the same thing. I'm still doing 3-2-1. I'm going to send number two in motion, going like this. Okay. And what I end up doing is now it just becomes like a wheel situation here. So I end up with a wheel package. Okay. So again, we have two guys out here. I got one and I got two, and I got potentially this third guy has to cover somebody. Okay, and so what I do is when I send this motion this way, I'm still gonna block it like normal, like it's normal jet block here, and I'm gonna leave the backers alone. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number one and I'm going to snag this guy up. And again, that variation can change based on the defense. Now, if they're to play down, I'm not going to snag them. I'm going to post them in the middle of the field. Okay, I'm going to post them. Now, what I do is I take this running back that's supposed to be blocking, like he's going to be blocking, and I take him and I send him on a wheel down the sideline. Okay. And then finally, the last thing is I have my last out. So my last out is once this jet goes by, I'm going to have him sit right on the numbers. Okay. So again, we're going to have that fake come through. We're going to have him fake and he's going to sit. And now the quarterback has to read one, two, and then the last one is three right here. Okay. And then the front side, I have normal blocking. Okay. And so once this guy free safety hits, and this if this comes down, he bites, then the thing is now the corner has a choice. Do I take the snag? Do I take the snag route? And 9 times out of 10, the snag route is always open. So that's the first one. And what I like to do is I have to like to have the seeing view of the quarterback 1 to 2 so they don't have to look 7 different ways. I like to look straight between people and so he has an opportunity to throw it. And if he doesn't like it, then check it down to number three and you should be open. Okay. So again, you can run that out of 3 by 1. You can run that out of 2 by 2. Okay. And again, 2 by 2 would basically just be you have two snags inside or you have a snag in a post and then you have the wheel coming over and you have another guy coming around. So again, and also too is one thing I forgot to mention is the other reason why I'd like to send number two in motion is because a lot of times when I send number three, this backer has a tendency just to blitz the edge. Okay. And so when the zone comes through, I forgot to mention this, when the zone comes through, okay, he has a tendency just to blow the whole play up. Okay, so I always like to send number two to make sure that he does not come off the edge, and he's in a good, and so we're in a good position to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so that's one way I like to do it. Another way I've done it before, and again, I want to show this as another play action opportunity here. Okay, and this works. This has worked really well for me as well. Is I'm going to send number two in motion one more time. Okay. And again, this is kind of like the same idea we had before. I'm going to block here. I'm going to block it like zone and have this everybody man up here. I'm going to send this guy in motion here. I'm going to send him all the way to the edge here. I'm going to have a post on this side. Now with number three and number one, since this guy is going to be coming over, this guy spins over, this guy spins down. I take number three and have him run a bend streak right behind that free safety. Okay. And he drops the ball right into that spot here. Okay. And that usually works out pretty well. And then in my outlet receiver is going to be number one, and I have him run a dig and I dig across. So how that works is if this backer takes on number three and he rides with him, which 9 times out of 10 he's probably going to do that if he sees that on tape. Okay, the corner is probably going to stay in his position, or he's going to see that hitch. I was hitching that before, but he would sit on the hitch. So now what I'm doing is I'm having him run a dig across, and so now I look 1 to 2 here, and then if that's not there, then I come back and I'll come back and I go the other side and I look for three. Okay. And then the blocking with this, so to keep them inside and keep these guys from bailing or going to the left or right, is again, I send this running back to fill that B gap for any blitz. So it'd be almost like a kind of like a jet zone inside, and then he fills that B gap, and then hopefully that sucks those guys in, and now you have a really good chance of making a great play on that. Okay, on that play. So again, that is definitely another opportunity I have with this stuff. Okay. All right. And then lastly, with the RPO game, all I run with that is basically another slant on this. So what I'll do is I'll send them for this one. I'll send number three in motion, go this way, have him go like this, and then I have number two run the slant right behind it. Okay, because I'm still reading this guy anyways, and I'm right here, and then I'm gonna have this, and this guy's gonna fly with it. If this guy goes and leave vacates, then I'm gonna hit the slant right behind that, right in that spot. Okay, because again, the free safety's got to spin, and he's spinning down, so he's spinning out of that way. And so if he hits it right, and we have a good connection here, we should be able to have it. And then, like I said, sometimes I've done it with just running two slants. Okay, and so now one clears out that backer, and now the second slant becomes open because of the corner. Okay, and I've also run it on the single side. If I ran it two by two, I'll send that guy in motion, and I love doing that on the goal. That's a great play for the goal line as well. Okay, so again, there's a lot of different things you can possibly do with this with the Georgia Jet sweep offense, and like I said, you can use multiple formations to do this, and that's one thing I love about it. But again, it's something that you really have to. It's a system, so you have to commit to it. It's not one of those things that you can put in and just put in once or twice. You have to really commit to it and really get your kids good at it. And again, once you get really good at it, there's a whole bunch of different things you can add to it, and it's not really hard reads for the quarterback. Quarterback just has a couple things you have to do, and you put yourself in a good position. So again, if you have any more questions or anything like that about this, more to come. There's not any more to come after this, but like I said, more questions. Please let me know. Like I said, Coach McCray, I'm a former OC head coach and now offensive line coach at Culbertson High School, run game coordinator. It's my email, my IG, and my Twitter. If you ever want to reach out to me, more than welcome to do that. Love to chop it up, talk football, and just learn different. Again, I'm always learning as well as giving out information as much as possible. So if you want to chop it up, talk, and you have some different ideas with this, please share them out so I can, again, I want to improve my offense as much as I want you guys to improve your offense as well. So thank you for having me the opportunity to do this, Coach Bandstra. Appreciate it, and good luck to you guys in the upcoming season.